What's good, boys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we've been going over the 3 setups that really changed my trading. These setups are all the same: liquidity sweep, IVG, SMT. It's just the 3 liquidities that I found the most probable playing out for my model, and I'm going to be sharing those with you guys today. If you guys like what you see in today's video, make sure you guys check out the free trading Discord. We trade every single day live, going over this. I only trade A+ in there. We also teach beginners. It's completely free. Make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you guys drop a sub. It's in the description and in the bio if you guys want to check that out. But let's go ahead and get over to the models, boys. All right, boys, let's get straight into the replay here today. I got NAS 100 on replay. I can't do both of them at the same time, so I can't do ES at the same time, but this is what the 4 hour looked like. One of our confluences was with ES, a bearish SMT. You guys can go back and study that yourself. I can't show you though how the bearish SMT played out on the replay just because I can't do both at the same time. But let's go ahead and get into my thoughts going into FOMC. So what are my thoughts? I'm thinking we're gonna wick up really quick when we get our uh, interest rates released, and then I wanted to see a sweep of that and the inverse, and that's exactly what we got. It happened a lot quicker than I thought it would happen, and I'm gonna explain everything right here. But overall, we have been very bullish on the weekly time frame. As you guys can see, let's check out the 4 hour. As you guys can see, we're priced in super heavy bullish. So I'm definitely expecting a quick downside wick reaction and then a retracement to go higher with FOMC. That's just based off, kind of how I felt going into the market with my bias. We also had 1 hour bearish gaps. But let's see exactly how this plays out. So as you guys can see, this is about 3 minutes before FOMC. We're just going to go ahead and play here on the 1 minute. Okay, boom. I went ahead and paused it here. So as you guys can see, very quickly, price picks up. FOMC 1 minute before, we go bullish immediately. Boom. This is our data. This is our data high here on the 1 minute. As you can see, why is this our data high? At 2 p.m., the interest rates were released on the screen, the FOMC news event. So immediately, price positions will be filled in there. So that'll be our data high. So this is our data sweep. This is what we want to see get swept. And as you guys can see on the 1 minute, boom, we quickly sweep. And what do? We put in a bullish 1 minute gap here. Put in a bullish IFVG. So this is a bullish gap that got inversed to the downside after a data sweep. What data sweep? One of the highest data sweeps probably you could ask for. This is one of the most hyped up news events of the entire year. So yeah, you can call me crazy for trading during FOMC. Not a trade I would normally take, but during a time like this, I could take a trade like this. And honestly, I normally leverage 2 minis. I only leverage 1 mini on this trade. Targeted about 86 points for about 1,700 on all accounts. Made 8,500 on the accounts off this trade. But yeah, boys, as you guys can see, right off the inverse, this was my entry right here. I have my stops a little bit higher above this downside close candle just because I knew it would be wicky because FOMC, and I was only using 1 mini leverage so I could have a bigger stop out here on this trade. And I just went ahead down here and target these recent lows I've seen here on the 1 minute. Pretty prominent liquidity, recent low. And I wanted to see this get taken out. So let's see exactly how this played out. All of my confluence here. These are the confluence, guys. By the way, bearish SMT. You can't see it with ES because I don't have replay trading, but there was a bearish SMT on the high time frame. Then we get the data sweep, and then we get an IVG to the downside. Entry right off that. Let's see exactly how it played out. Boom. Just like that, boys. 91 points in 5 minutes. 1,700 all accounts, 8,500 done for the day, done for the week. Only real trade I took for the week. Great way to end the week. It's been an entire process of taking this trade, exactly what I seen, and my confluences. So going into the day, my bias, as you guys can see, we had Asia high resting. We didn't have a true London high, so I marked Asia here. True London high, I want to see a prominent London high. This is like pre-market sweep. Don't really like anything but this Asia high here and this London low as well, as you guys can see here. And going to the high time frame. Let's go to the high time frame. As you guys can see, this candle's a little bit messed up. Don't look at this. This is the London low, true London low. It was a PD array, as you guys can see, 4-hour fair value gap PD array, swing low, which is also a London low. So boom, that confirms my bias for the day. The only thing I'm going to take going in today is a London low sweep with the inverse to the upside. We're in a bullish market. We want to see a sweep of London low here inside of the 4-hour PD array, high A plus for our setup, inverse, and go to the upside. Also a SMT would be beautiful, right? So going into the day, let's see how we start. As you guys can see, this is 9:14. We're going to go ahead and get to 9:30. So boom, 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 we're playing out. Here comes 9:30. We got our initial push and sweep. Slow this down a little bit for you guys. As you guys see, we get a sweep. And at this current time, as you guys see, I can't replay ES. So just know that this is London low. And whenever I'm over here, as you guys can see, it shows the line of price that ES was at the exact same current time. So as you can see, as we sweep out London here, we're very high up in the range on ES. So there's the SMT. So let's put this would be our first original SMT. So based off this, there was no gaps, no true entry. So sat this one out, thought this one was going to bust the upside, run right to the liquidity. Cool. Stepping away. Now, as I'm stepping away, I think to myself, okay, well, what else could we see to potentially get calls? We have a SMT. We're probably going to rebalance up higher. But if we could get a sweep of this low here and a sweep on ES as well, or maintain our SMT, I would still be willing to take a bullish trade to the upside if we get our setup, which is a very strict setup. Now, as you guys can see, you can be like, well, one tick off, why wouldn't you take this inverse here? This is a sweep of London low SMT inverse. This is way too far up the range, guys. A lot of these IFVG traders would be like, yes, this is the model, take this, right? But I want to be at a protected low. This is a 52-point stop out. On prop firms, mini trading, you cannot risk 52 points. Even with my buffer, you can't do it. So we can't take this trade. It's not our correct leverage. It's a setup, but it's not clean. It doesn't have clear volume. So stayed away from that. All right. Now this is our new liquidity target, as you guys can see. Boom. We sweep this liquidity, and we also just put in a gap. So what we want to see from this bearish gap here, we want to see this bearish gap get inversed to the upside after liquidity sweep. And as you guys can see here, at the exact same time, ES put in a bearish gap. At the exact same time as well, ES did not sweep out London low. What does that mean? We currently have a SMT. All right, we come over to NQ. We get our next candle. All right, NQ, play out. All right, we get our next candle, as you guys can see. Okay, we're one tick off of inversing the gap, creating our IVG, our confluence for price to continue higher. But what do we notice? Here on ES, we have it inverse. SMT, inverse, ES, bullish close. Really liked it. Now, one thing I will take away from this trade, I normally would not enter unless NASDAQ inverse. This trade was a little bit different. You know, I ended up taking this entry off of the next candle, right, basically above the fair value gap, and had a stop all basically at this candle closure, or you could do wick, either or, pretty much similar stops, like a 10-point difference. But light risk thrown on, news coming out as well in 3 minutes. So we had our entry. Now, our target should be the draw 100% of the time, and this is what I can take away from this trade. My target was not the draw. We had news coming out in basically 3 minutes, so I moved TP to this recent high, as you guys can see, for a 2-to-1, and we get our confirmed inverse based off this candle here. This could also be an entry. Price continuously stay bullish. This was our news candle right here, as you guys can see. We end up sweeping, pushing right past, and off of this closure, I ended up popping out of this trade right here, right after we swept that news candle, because sweeping news candles and data wicks 80-70% of the time leads to a reversal. Didn't want that a part of my trade here. Took my 750 in profit. All right, boys, welcome to our third example. Our third example is going to be a high time frame PD race, swing high or low sweep. So what does that mean? So we have a high time frame gap, so a 4 hour, 1 hour, or day gap. That's going to be our most prominent gaps. So we're going to look for a swing high or low. So in our example, we have a bearish 4 hour here with the swing high. This is what it looks like after our play. We're going to go ahead and get into it on the 1 minute time frame and show you guys how the model played out with it. But this is the liquidity you're going to want to see get swept. These have a very, very high probability of playing out. But let's just go and get into the 1 minute. For you guys who want to back test this was happening on September 4th. As you guys can see, we never had swept that previous swing high. So let's go ahead and see how we came into the day and exactly how this one played out and exactly how the model played out. So as you guys see, this is 929. We're going to go ahead and open up. Price is opening. We get a sweep. We're getting a strong buy side push right up to our liquidity. As you guys can see, okay, paused it here. So what are we looking at here? So our 4 hours swing high inside of the 4 hour PD rate just got swept. We're going to put in a gap right here, a bullish gap. So what do we want to see now? We've seen a clean sweep. So right off this clean sweep, we're going to want to head and just go ahead and see an inverse. So let's see how this plays out. As you guys can see, we get a very, very great close. Obviously, this would have been our entry. Clean off the IFVG right here, boys. Right as the next candle would have opened. Perfect trade with the stops at the recent protected high, 28 points. Now, what would our draw be? We're going to go ahead and want to look for a prominent low. This low here in this range looks very prominent to me to get swept. So that would be our draw we would want to hold to, which would be a solid 66 points down to the downside. So this sets us up for a nice almost 3-1. And as you guys can see, let's see how this one plays out. Price action is chopping, not clearly going straight to the draw. Still chopping a bit. Sitting decent in profits. And still chopping. Boom, there we go. TP ends up getting taken and cleanly swept through all the way down to clear out the rest of all these orders. Very, very clean trade. We took this on September 4th. Actually, this was a play about a month ago, and I remember taking this. This was very, very beautiful, very clean setup. This is exactly what you want to see when it comes to a high time frame PD rate swing high or low. Whenever you see a clean sweep like that and a quick inverse, especially one that inverse that far to the downside, pretty much a green signal that we're going to want to clear orders down and run straight to our draw. Very, very beautiful setup for this last example for you boys. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this setup video. If you have any questions, make sure you join the Discord. Ask me any questions you guys have. I'll make sure they are answered. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we out of here, man.